I'm Connor Rother, and I'm joined by UFC heavyweight Chris Daukaus, who's set to make his second trip to the Octagon on October 10th. What's up, Chris? How you doing?
Good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Good, yeah, no, thanks for joining me. I appreciate it. Now, you're a guy that, I pay attention to a lot of the regional scene. I remember you kind of coming up, but, for you, this is obviously a pretty quick turnaround after your UFC debut. Was that always, like, the thing for you? Like, once you got in the UFC, did you want to stay, pretty active?
Yeah. Generally, I like to stay active, whether it was for the UFC or for CFFC. It was just a conflict of getting quality opponents. So yeah, the UFC obviously has everyone on in the world that's signed, so it's not going to be hard for me to get a fight, and that's what I do: stay consistent and get as many fights as I can in a short time span as long as I don't have any kind of injuries or anything like that.
Yeah. Being a guy who, like you just said, like wants to be active, things like that, like how tough was these last couple months where, especially being on the regional scene, there wasn't really, I know CFFC's going now, but at the time there probably, there wasn't much options out there.
Yeah, it was real bad. Especially just because like COVID hit, and then my fight against Teed got canceled a week before, so I was kind of like real upset about that, and just it's been a whirlwind of just trying to get fights. And then when I actually found out that I was going to fight him again in August, I was real excited. So I was, all right, finally we're past this. We're not past it. We're pushing forward. We're making, we're taking necessary precautions to actually put fights on. So I was real excited about that. And then I ended up getting the call for the
Yeah. Yeah, that really couldn't have like worked much better because if I remember correctly, right, you were supposed to fight like Teed like a couple days before that UFC debut.
Yeah, I was supposed to fight Teed on a Wednesday, and I ended up getting a call, I think that Friday before that to fight Parker Porter, 2 days later, 3 days later. It was nothing. It honestly couldn't have happened at a better time, especially just with my fight camp going on. I was training for 5.5s, so I was well conditioned. I was ready to go. So it worked out. So
yeah, for sure. Now you're making this quick turnaround. Your brother obviously made his debut before you, but you're gonna get that second one in. Is there any like sibling rivalry here, trying to get that second one before he does, or?
Nah, it's strictly just we're just trying to make each other better. We're trying to prove that we do belong and that we should have been here for right when we got here. So it's good for both of us. It's good for the gym just to have everyone kind of supporting us and everyone kind of like kicking our ass just to keep us ready. So
yeah. And after your win too, I saw in the post-fight presser you were kind of talking about how a lot of people like doubted you and your brother, especially on the regional scene and kind of on the come up. But for you, like, what was it like to not only like have that opportunity, but to go the way it did, where you had that obviously high rate real knockout right away, that kind of a great display, I guess, for the first fight.
Yeah, it was kind of insane. Just not even on like the regional scene. Everyone in the regional scene knows who we are just because I guess brothers and doing really well for both of each other. My brother competed. He was the CFFC champ, so it was kind of like it was more or less like family and friends who were kind of down us on this. It wasn't really people on the regional scene just because everyone in the know knew that we were close enough, we were good enough to make that jump. And especially, the performance my brother put on against Brandon Allen on 11 days' notice. That dude was smashing everybody in the UFC. And he's a top 15 dude in the UFC's middleweight division. So it's ridiculous that my brother can put that type of performance on 11 days' notice. Like, that just shows you the type of quality of fighters that are coming out of our gym and the regional scene of, like, CFFC and all that. So,
for sure.
Yeah, and then just like with me making that highlight reel knockout, I you want to call it whatever. Yeah, it was awesome. It's just something out, you see little tendencies that people do, and then you just kind of capitalize. And then we were working on certain things for the 3 days that I had to work on with Parker, but it all worked out for us. So I was happy.
Yeah. Yeah, like, if you can't get a win on your debut, I don't think you could probably ask for much more than performance like Kyle had either, just because I don't think anybody was kind of doubting that he belonged there after that.
Yeah, it was insane. Just that he was showing me like the amount of messages. I was going on Twitter and just seeing what everyone was saying, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and everything. And it's the performance that he put on is, I honestly think that I tell him this all the time, that I think his performance is better than mine just because of the circumstances in which he did. The quality of the opponent. I know. the quality of opponent that he was fighting, and that he almost finished him in the third. I mean, arguably it could have been a 10-8 round, but our opinions don't matter. It's just the three people who was in the cage that matter.
Yeah. I saw on Instagram too that Kyle got his black belt, but did you guys get your black belts the same day?
Same day.
Wow. What was that like?
It was definitely crazy. I mean, it's something that we've been working for a while. It wasn't. It was always a goal for us to get our black belts, but it was more or less listen, we need to train the gi. We need to do that. Our coach Will Martinez is really big on training in the gi. So we did the gi, but it was more or less, we're gonna do MMA, and then we're just gonna smash everybody. And then it was kind of we've been doing the gi for so long. We've been doing the gi. I've been doing the gi since before I started doing MMA. So it's kind of crazy to think that we're black belts now.
Yeah. What's it been like to you? I mean, just these last couple of months too, because if you think about it, like obviously, like you're a police officer, so I'm sure you've kind of had a front row to the COVID, the early stages of that, plus the Black Lives Matter movement, all this stuff, and I guess a lot of negativity. But for you, like it's like now you have the black belt. You and your brother both make your UFC debuts. Like what has it kind of been like this time?
It's been a little strange. I mean, 2020 certainly does suck for a lot of people, and it does suck for me and my family and everyone around us. But there is, a shining light in everything. We both got signed to the UFC, both got our black belts. So I mean, 2020 is definitely going to be a year to remember for both positive and negatives. But like you said, being on the front lines with everything with COVID and then the Black Lives Matter, it's been a hell of a journey, especially what I've seen and dealt with. But it's definitely going to be a year that you remember. So
yeah, I know you were saying too before this that there's a chance you could be working the protest day. Like, what has it been like in Philly recently?
Recently it hasn't been too bad. Couple months ago, I want to say, right around when everything happened with George Floyd, that's when we had the biggest and worst riots, I think, in Philadelphia. I was down Center City working at the MSB building, just out there on post, and as the night went on, it just gradually got worse and worse and worse, and then we got redeployed to like 15th and Chestnut when everyone started going through all the shops and the looters and everything like that. And I'm walking down 15th Street, and it's like me, my sergeant, everyone I work with, and we have a riot gear, and we're walking down 15th Street towards Chestnut Street, and it literally looks like we're in like a movie, like The Purge or something. There's smoke everywhere, there's fire everywhere, people running with everything in their hands, and it literally, I couldn't have, if I would have paid a Hollywood actor or a Hollywood movie director to direct that's exactly what I would have pictured if they're like, all right, this is what we're gonna do, because it like something straight out of a movie.
Wow.
Yeah, it was certainly wild and crazy, but and it's actually also like heartbreaking. Like I was at Broad and Honey Park where I work, and there was one Walgreens left out of the whole store, out of the whole shopping mall, but it wasn't really left. There was still certain things in the store that people could get. So we were just out there, just trying to keep peace, and people were coming up to us, like older people who lived in the community, who were saying like, "Hey, is Walgreens open? I need medication, like my prescription." Yeah, I'm like, I'm telling them, I said, "There's nothing left in the store. Like, I'm really sorry." And like, I've had like grown men and grown women in their cars crying to me, like, what am I gonna do? I need this medication to be alive, and I can't give them an answer. And I'm just like, call your doctor, just try and go to the hospital. Maybe you can get your medication to the hospital, or try and find a different Walgreens, maybe outside the city that has your medication. Yeah. It's really heartbreaking in that fact that people in the community are upset with everything going on, and they should be, but then they're breaking and destroying their own community, and they're further hurting members in their community. So it kind of sucks,
Yeah. I was only seeing a lot of that through video, but I remember like when I was living in Philly, I remember there was like when Trump got elected, there was a lot of like protests in the street. I remember obviously when the Eagles won, I mean that was a little more, I guess, better intentions, I guess, but I remember a lot of crazy stuff happened there too. But certainly nothing like this.
Yeah, no, it's been certainly one to remember. It's just crazy, just the whole climate that we're in as a country and all that. So hopefully it's coming to an end, or we can physically mitigate this or talk it out. Honestly, it's just that's what I found. Just I've had conversations with people, and they after the conversations while I'm on duty, they're like, I didn't know cops were like you. I figured that they were like robots, and I'm like, no, like that's the biggest thing is just have conversations with people, and that's what people don't really get. They want to scream in each other's face, they're right, you're wrong, whatever. It's just have a normal conversation about any kind of issues, and you'll realize that people aren't that much different.
Yeah, for sure. One thing I thought was really interesting too, just to kind of go off of what you just said, was when everyone was kind of posting about September 11th too, and you were seeing all these things, and it was like it's crazy just to think that there's something that where we were almost praising these first responders for what they did and what they gave up, and then now flash forward to years later, the different circumstances, but.
Yeah, I've seen it online. Like everyone wants to be back to September 12th when everyone was together and there was no bickering between us. It was everyone was united in the United States. But I don't know. I guess quickly how people forget how a lot of first responders are willing to give up their lives for complete strangers, and I'm one of them. And it's just unbelievable. But you know what? To the people that I work with and everyone else around the country, just keep doing what you're doing, and we'll get better. It'll work out.
Yeah. Now, how long have you been a police officer for?
I've been a cop coming up on 10 years in this July. So when 2021, I'll be a cop for 10 years.
Yeah. Now, is that something, say, the UFC career for a long time, like, is that something you plan to always balance, or eventually would you like just to maybe fight full time?
No, I'm definitely gonna fight full time. There's no doubt in my mind. I'm definitely gonna fight full time. It's just all about money. It's all about benefits and so that I have everything for my son and my wife set up. So I have to do a couple more months, and then me and my wife are gonna sit down and game plan about everything that's gonna happen with my job, my career, and everything. And then I always have the option of coming back. So I have that option, and if it doesn't work out for the UFC, and I, health benefits, or my wife needs better health benefits, or my son, obviously he's going to need health benefits. But if it's just not working out for the UFC, and I'm getting my ass kicked by everyone, and I suck, so I'll probably go back to doing that.
Yeah. Do you I'm sure you do, but do you think about a lot of times too, hey, if I was able to, balance both and get to this point, what could I do with just focusing on full time?
Absolutely. I think about that all the time. I think about, like you said, I'm literally working, 8 to 4 or 6 to 2 at night. And before work, I'm going to the gym, I'm going to strength and conditioning, and I'm doing all that. But that's what it's like. If I can get to this level and I can put on these type of performances while working a full-time job, I can't wait to see what I can actually do when I'm 110% focused on training.
Yeah, for sure. And now the second fight is against Nascimento. I know he's undefeated. I think 8-0. What have you been able to kind of see on him so far?
He's not. He's kind of. I don't want to use this as a bad term, but he's basic. But basics win fights. That's what people don't understand. It's like the flashy moves, the flashy style. He comes forward. He's basic. He throws what he's going to throw. It's strong, and you know what you're going to get with that dude. And he's going to try and walk me down. He's going to try and leg kick me, clinch me up, probably try and drag me to the floor. But that's just what every other opponent I've ever fought has tried to do. So it's not going to be anything different.
Yeah. Do you feel like it's a classic grappler versus striker, or do you feel like you have more to offer than that?
No, it's from the outside. It's definitely a grappler versus striker. A lot of his wins are by submission. His last 2 wins are by arm triangle. So that's something.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, arm triangle and rear naked choke. So it's definitely something that he favors. But it's the UFC. You're in the heavyweight division. Everyone can do everything. So that whole back in the day type thing is striker versus grappler. It kind of doesn't fly anymore. So
yeah. And then a guy like Parker Porter, obviously, like that probably worked out good for you too. I mean, he was a guy who was also, I think, making his debut that night as well. Do you feel like Nascimento? Do you feel like that's like the perfect like test for that second fight?
Yeah, it's definitely a good step up. I mean, 8-0 is definitely good for me. You know, he's undefeated. He's coming out of a big camp, so he's definitely has kind of like some hype behind him, especially with who he's training with Junior and all that. So it'll be good for my career and to bolster me. So I can't wait.
Yeah. And one of my last things too, I think I saw on Instagram too, the UFC, they hooked you up with the Traeger grill. What's I know you said in the post fight too, you like to grill. So what's that been like?
Yeah, it's been awesome. I'm actually going to use it today. I can't wait. I'm going to cook up some wings today.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, it's been awesome. I love fighting and working for the UFC, and I couldn't ask for anything better.
Yeah. Do you like grill a lot? Like, is that something you've like always done, or like do you like to cook?
110%. Every weekend we grill. Like we have a little like family get together. So it's always been me on the grill, doing whatever I'm going to do. So. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that I love, and I'll be continuing to do that as long as I can. Cause
Yeah.
But yeah.
Maybe like Traeger can hook you up with a commercial or something. Have the whole family grilling that.
That's fine with me. Whatever Traeger wants to do, hook me up, totally fine with it because it's an awesome product, and I can't wait to use it again today.
Yeah. All right, Chris. Well, once again, thanks for taking the time. I really appreciate it. Anything before I let you go?
No, I just want to thank everyone who's been supporting me, my wife. There's a little guy right there. Say what's up.
What's up? How you doing?
Yeah, all my sponsors, Fuel Hunt, Angelo, A&M, Fleet Service, Lucky Clouds, all them guys, Problem Nutrition, obviously Martinez, BJJ. I appreciate you guys for absolutely everything that you do. And I appreciate you for actually having me on, so thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. Thanks for joining me. Also, thanks for your work as a police officer as well. I appreciate it, and I wish you the best come October 10th.
Very much. Really appreciate that, man.